Hasina won the elections. The other political parties, Bangladesh Nationalist Party, the leader Zia Khalida has been under house arrest, and Zamati Islami has been banned from contesting elections, and many of their leaders are also arrested. So it is, the US has been claiming that it is not going to be a free and fair elections. So many visits have took place. I'll give you some notes about it. Let's see the statements that took place before this. So if you look at before the election took place in Bangladesh, many United States and its friends, that includes Australia, Japan, Canada, Republic of Korea, that is South Korea, Norway, United Kingdom, as well as the United States, issued a joint statement expressing they are deeply concerned over the violence, and they are also worried about how free the elections are going to be held in Bangladesh. This is the statement that they released in the year 2022. Much before that, 2018 or 2014 elections also, even if you take the last before general elections in Bangladesh, they are also one uncontested. The BNP did not participate in the elections. So what is the demand? Why do the uh, Bangladesh Nationalist Party led Khalida Zia decide not to contest? Because they are strongly of the view that the election commission was completely hijacked by the Awami League, and they are under complete control of it. So what they wanted is to have a Sheikh Hasina government to resign and to set up an interim government, and under that interim government monitoring, the election should take place. Only then they will contest and they will believe in the results. This has also been the same stand as of the United States and the Western countries. So is it that these Western countries are so concerned about the democracy and the freedom of Bangladesh, or is there any other hidden agenda? Let's look into that. If you go back to much before 2023, let's take for example in the year 2020. So what happened was United States Deputy Secretary of State invited Dhaka to join the Quad. What is Quad? You have Japan, you have Australia, you have India, and you have United States trying to form a kind of a defense alliance, not complete defense alliance, but a kind of defense alliance. The main aim is to contain China's aggression in the Indo-Pacific region and South China Sea region. So with this idea, they wanted Bangladesh also to get into the Quad. But what happened? Bangladesh being a small state, being a weaker state, it was also under pressure from China. You can see the immediate next year, what happened was the Chinese envoy warned Bangladesh from joining any military alliance as it would lead to substantial damage to the Sino-Bangladeshi bilateral relations. So on one side, US asking the Bangladesh to join Quad. On the other side, China not wanting Bangladesh to join Quad. So here, Bangladesh being an independent sovereign country is a joke where the superpowers are trying to exercise their foreign policy influence. But for that, what Bangladesh responded, we will decide our own foreign policy. Then the Bangladesh decided not to join the Quad, and it tried to balance the relations between China on one side, United States on the other side. This was one of the irking point for United States. It is not just 2020 or 2021 Quad or something. It was much before. It was many years earlier that United States has prepared ground for the Bangladeshi Sheikh Hasina's regime's downfall. So there are many other connecting dots before that. But immediately, as soon as that took place, in the year 2021, US imposed sanctions on the Bangladesh elite paramilitary force, the Rapid Action Battalion. So this is one connecting dot. And I will also give you some more things. Sheikh Hasina, she accused, there was war of words and arguments, give and take. In one of the statements, Sheikh Hasina has stated that The US are trying to eliminate the democracy and introduce a government that will not have a democratic existence. These kind of tussle of words were exchanged, and she called America a bunch of hypocrites and not in a position to lecture Bangladesh on democracy. And when Sheikh Hasina visited Washington DC, there was no proper response. And then some of the US officials also visited Bangladesh. And there was, let me show you another statement. Let me show you another statement from Sheikh Hasina. Yes, you can see here when Sheikh Hasina revealed in a statement, the Prime Minister of Sheikh Hasina, the Prime Minister of Bangladesh, Sheikh Hasina, made a shocking claim that a plot is being hatched to carve out a Christian state in East Timor. So, which means the United States is this is a big revelation. This is a big statement made by Prime Minister Sheikh Hasina. These all happened many months before all these Bangladesh protests and unrest. So what was the statement she made? That US is planning to carve out a Christian state. It is wanting to set up or say create a new nation, new country by taking parts of Bangladesh, by taking parts of Myanmar, and most importantly, by taking parts of India. That includes the state of Mizoram and the southern part of Manipur. So this is a big statement which is going to affect not only Bangladesh but Myanmar most importantly. I will give you the more connecting dots for the unrest in Myanmar, for the unrest in Manipur, for the unrest in Mizoram, and many things that's happening in South India, South Asia. So, uh, and she further made the white man who visited just prior to the Bangladeshi elections in January assured that there will be no problem at all if she permits them to establish an air base on Bangladeshi soil, which means all that United States want is it wanted an island. Let me show you. United States demanded from Bangladesh is this particular island where Bangladesh should give the choice to the United States to set up air base. This is the thing. This is in the Bay of Bengal region, just to the south. You can see the bigger map wherein you will be able to figure out that red dot, which is Saint Martin's Island, that that has been the bone of contention for United States. So, what is the United States demand? If they get this airbase, if the Bangladesh government gives this airbase, they'll give 100% support to Sheikh Hasina. There will be no unrest. There will be no protests. There will be no carving out of a new country. There is no other problems. Democracy will be all good. Everything will be good, provided if this island is given. This statement was made directly to the prime minister by a white man who visited from United States. So look at the uh, kind of hegemony. Not it's not even hegemony. It's outright bullying of a smaller country by a superpower. So further, let me show you. I was telling that the shocking statement that was made by the prime minister is that US wanting to create a separate nation, create a new nation if this does not happen. So what are those regions that US is planning to create? This is the region. This is Indian states. You can see Tripura, Mizoram. In between, below this Tripura and Mizoram, you can see these are the Bangladesh region. Bangladesh goes like this, and then here Myanmar starts. So this area is called Chittagong Hill Tracts. This region is called Chittagong Hill Tracts. Chittagong hill tracts. So the peculiarity about this region is this is not a Muslim majority region in the Bangladesh. This does not mainly connects to the mainland of Bangladesh. So here most of them are non-Muslims. That includes one Buddhists, that includes Christians, and a few other tribes. So here at the time of independence, this Chittagong hill tract was, they thought they are part of India because there was no proper communication and they hoisted Indian flag as well. But over a period of time, they come to know that they are part of Bangladesh. And then further, what happened was the Buddhists and others who were staying in that particular Chittagong hill tracts were subjected to massacres, were subjected to brutal suppressions or killings, and they turned out to become minority in the region. And who became the majority? The Christians in that particular region, the Kuki community. The cookies became the majority in the region over a period of time. This is about Chittagong hill tracts. Let me show you further graph. So this is the region of Bangladesh, plus this is the region of Myanmar, plus this is our Mizoram, this is Tripura, and this is the parts or few districts of Manipur. So the idea behind United States plan is that all these areas are Kuki community, Christian majority regions. So they wanted to create a separate region in this green shaded area with Christian majority, and which will be, the idea behind that is, if this is formed, they can easily access this Saint Martin Island, which comes somewhere here, Saint Martin Island. Not only that, they will have this particular entire country which is completely favorable to United States, a complete outright ally of United States. This is a very significant step because it gives outright control over the entire Indo-Pacific, Indian Ocean region and Bay of Bengal region. Not only that, it will have complete access not only towards India but also towards China. So this was the plan. So it wanted to create a strong, friendly country in this particular region, provided if Bangladesh Sheikh Hasina's government don't support it. So let us look at how the next government is going to come up in Bangladesh. What impact does it have on creation of this particular new state? And let me also give you some more plans here. The Bangladesh unrest that took place, it was mainly driven by the student, all these proxies. There are many proxies in many universities who are on the payrolls of United States. All of them were triggered. They are like a sleeper cells. They were all triggered during these protests. Now going to the Myanmar. So what is happening in Myanmar? In Myanmar, you can see it was under Aung San Suu Kyi's rule. She was the prime minister. 2 years back, she was asked to resign by the Myanmar military junta. So why did they ask to resign? Because she was a Nobel Prize winner, that is all fine, but she is a completely US supporter. She was pro US. So the military's concern was that she is going to give consent to the formation of these separate nation for the cookies. That was their concern. But most importantly, the Myanmar's military is pro-China, while the prime minister is pro-US. So here also the game is between the two superpowers. So what happened? the Myanmar military house arrested this lady and it took over the military rule. But then what happened? All the military groups, rebel groups, all these rebel groups started fighting against Myanmar junta. So the junta is fighting against many of the rebel groups. Now, these groups, where do they get arms, ammunitions, weapons, and all? They are being transmitted through Thailand. And who transmits through Thailand to these rebel groups to fight against the Myanmar junta? Again, the United States. It's again the United States. So you can see even here there has been lot of unrest that has been created in the Myanmar. Next, going to the India, Northeast. If you see just exactly an year back, May 2023, we have seen an unrest in Manipur between Kukis, Kuki tribe and Meiteis, where Meiteis were Hindus majority while Kukis were Christians majority. So Meiteis our population is more, which of late is turning out to be minority. It is in the margin of becoming a minority. Reason being, lot of cookies are made to infiltrate. Cookies are made to infiltrate from here, from Myanmar, so that their population becomes dominant. Kuki population in the Manipur becomes dominant so that they can demand separate state, or if everything goes well, they wanted to demand for a separate nation from the by separating parts of Myanmar as well. So this was one of the main concern why Meithis have been fighting against Kukis. So so this particular cookies, what is happening? One thing, illegal immigration, large scale influx of population cookies from Myanmar region. And there is also, let me show you some statistics. You can see here, well, between this particular state. Between 1961 and 2011, the Hindu population, mostly Meithis, declined from 62% to 41%, while Christians, Nagas, and Kuki jumped from 19% to 41%. 19% to 41%. So you can also see Meithis, which of late in certain areas the population is 53% but occupy only 10% of geography, while Nagas and Kukis account for 47% of population but have control over but occupy 90% of the geography. So these are few contrasting things. No doubt, there is no doubt that there has been large scale influx of Kukis from Myanmar or from the Chittagong hill tracts. That not only that, most importantly, they are being armed big time. They are being armed big time. They are becoming like a very weaponized militant group. Hmm. So you can see this region, this Manipur, sorry, Myanmar and Thailand, all these regions, it is very famous in the world across the globe for narcotic drugs. Drug smuggling, arms smuggling is very famous in uh, Cambodia, Thailand, Myanmar. Mm. So what is happening? The same money, the same drugs, the same weapons have also been reaching to the cookies in Myanmar and Mizoram as well. So you can see here some of the statements that were made. You can see one of the Rajya Sabha member made a statement. The attacks are pre-planned. Here we are talking about Manipur violence. The attacks are pre-planned conspiracy of cookies, the militants, and Myanmar is narco terrorists. Narco terrorists meaning these are the terrorists who smuggle drugs for arms. So they send drugs. They will have strong links across the world. This is the map of Manipur where the violence took place. Again, the same Manipur where the violence took place. So the demand in Manipur is the southern part of Manipur, the shaded in the pink color. They wanted to make it separate state as Kukiland. So, and further, this was the initial demand. Then later point of time, what they did, they wanted this Kukiland and to be mixed with the entire Mizoram. They wanted to combine. Initial demand was to have a small separate state within Manipur. And post then what happened? Manipur, this particular Kukiland, should also combine Mizoram. So this was the later demand. So all these things are growing up, building up big time. Now on top of it, Myanmar's rebel groups also started to join them, and Chittagong Hill Track rebel groups also joined. Now BNP, Bangladesh Nationalist Party, how it is going to handle in the upcoming elections, post elections, let us wait and see. So you can see here, even the Metis, when in some of the protests, you can see what are they talking about. Stop narco terrorism and external aggression. Fence with Myanmar. Complete border fencing with Myanmar. What are they trying to emphasize? Large scale influxation of population, not only population, but also arms, ammunitions, and drugs on a large scale. So, how is it going to affect India? It is going to affect India big time, because if this entire region, the dark shaded region, becomes a separate country, or it becomes a stronghold for Kukiland and a lot of instability, India's look east policy will be completely disconnected. You can see the Bangladesh on one side becomes, it is more or less now, if Awami League is not going to come to power for the next 10 years, it is going to be like another Pakistan. It is like a rebirth of East Pakistan, with Bangladesh Nationalist Party completely pro United States and pro China, with the strong uh, affiliation to Pakistan. It is going to be a very difficult situation. And on top of it, this Koki land and Myanmar instability, all these is going to completely disconnect India to, to the Southeast Asian countries on the eastern front. Now, how is it if this gets disconnected? What are the problems? The entire northeastern states development will be compromised big time. There is no doubt in it. Second thing, the next target for them can be this region. This is the chicken neck, India's only land connecting point to the northeast. That is Siliguri corridor. So if Bangladesh becomes more closer to Pakistan or the United States, their next step will be to disconnect this. That will be another threat. And post then what will happen? Now, if you now Pakistan on the western side disconnected us from every other country. We will not be able to even connect to Afghanistan right now. So Central Asia, Russia, all these connection will be disconnected. On the north, Tibet is under China's control, disconnection. East, now Bangladesh will be pro-Pakistan or pro-US. That it will be more like a hostile relations to India. So the idea is that disconnect on the east also. So it is like through all the land areas, all the sides of the land, we are becoming like more like a landlocked. We are becoming like a landlocked. Now what is it going to imply? One, our security interests will be big time compromised. It will become a big challenging point. Number two, Our ambition to become the third largest economy or to become second largest economy, it is also projected by 2050 India is going to overtake China to become the single largest economy, which US do not want at any cost. Already China has become second largest economy, and the US is not able to control China. And on top of it, if India continues to grow like this, it will become another headache to the geopolitical hegemony of United States. So you don't want to deal with another China, where India become another China, not listening to them, not pursuing their interests, pursuing some independent interests. So you do not want all of that to happen. So what US can also do is to harm India's growth, to harm India's ambitious goal of reaching third largest economy or second largest economy or the first largest economy. So this is going to be a multi-front or multi-dimensional challenge for India. A new Bangladesh, which is more like an East Pakistan, revival of East Pakistan, the Cookie Land plans of United States, which has to be thwarted at any cost. This should not become a reality. So, as as what can be the possible options that India can do? You can also see Aung San Suu Kyi got a Nobel Prize. They made her a big figure, and then they were installed her in Myanmar so that U.S. interest gets pursued. In the same way, right now, if you take interim government, this person Muhammad Yunus was also a Nobel Prize laureate. He's also a puppet of United States. He was in U.S. when Bangladesh protests took place. He is nowhere in Bangladesh. So someone from BNP or someone else, someone who is in the Bangladesh could have become the leader. But why did someone was brought from US all of a sudden and made as a leader? Because we can also understand the US hand behind it. So Bangladesh, the Chittagong Hill Tracts, the Manipur, Mizoram, and within the Myanmar, parts of Myanmar. So this is going to be a challenging thing. So how India going to deal with it? Suppose suppose if India tries to outrightly pursue its interests and capture these Chittagong Hill tracts or capture some parts of Bangladesh, then US may impose sanctions on India also. Just like when Russia captured Crimea, US imposed sanctions on Russia. In the same way, if suppose India also captures certain part of it, part of Bangladesh, uh, so that this Koki land, all these problems don't come up, then US might impose sanctions on India. That will again big time impact India's economy, because India's economy is not large. India's economy is just around 3.8 or nearing to $4 trillion. It is not anywhere like 20 trillion like of US, sorry, of China, or the 30-40 trillion dollars of United States. So we are nowhere in that economic powerhouse. So these are the challenges that India has. We cannot go with direct hard power on Bangladesh to tackle the situation. So what best can be done by India is India can attract a lot of investments. Right now, India has a huge opportunity. India is having FDIs, but not as much as it is required. So India can make a lot of ease of doing business. So what else India can do? India can reduce taxes big time. You can see Indian companies themselves are going and establishing companies in Dubai or Singapore or Malaysia or Switzerland. So they are going and setting up their main base in those countries because taxes are less there. So what India can do is India should be the destination for the companies. India should be the big destination for investments. So when all the big investments come, especially the investments from West, then US trying to destroy or impose sanctions on India will be less, because the pressure will be from the companies and investors as well. So India will can develop that lobby as well. So, and at the same time, India in that way can also become more economically resilient, not to get affected by any of these sanctions or politics of the interests of the United States. So United States is like a big monster. It's like to be an enemy of United States is a dangerous thing, but to be a friend of United States is much more dangerous, because in the name of friendship, it will definitely someday hit us hard. This has happened to Pakistan, this has happened to Bangladesh, this has happened to India and many countries in this. So being a friend of United States in the name of friendship, it backstabs big time. It tries to dig our own backyards. So there is no democracy, there is nothing about freedom that US keeps fighting. In the name of democracy, in the mask of democracy, all that US worries about is its own interests. It it bothers least about even the democratically elected governments if it goes against US. It doesn't it will not even bother to install a radical terrorist organization to power if suppose it supports United States. This is not just a statement, it is a reality. In 1989, what happened in Afghanistan was the democratically elected government was thrown out, and the rebel groups were given arms, ammunitions and everything, and then the origin of Taliban took place. Likewise, Syria, even Assad, they wanted to dethrone Assad regime, and they funded all the rebel groups, and that gave rise to ISIS. So likewise, there are a number of examples. The entire Arab Spring, what happened in Egypt, what happened to Saddam Hussein. So there are a number of examples where we can say that in the name of democracy, what US did was complete destruction, complete damage, and a torn nation, which takes decades to build back to the normalcy. So this is what US has been doing, and India should be very much aware of it. And Indians, and many times it's very easy, even we might think that we are living in the generation of information era, we are in the uh, global connectivity where everything happens anywhere we'll come to know, and we are well aware of everything so that no one can fool us. But you have seen right in front of our eyes how the entire Bangladesh students and youth got fooled by United States. So it's all about the propaganda, it's all about the agenda, it's all about what through universities, through academicians, through various campaigns, they are trying to imbibe or say embed the opinions into us. So we have to be extremely careful. A sovereign, independent nation is possible when we, as a youth, as citizens of the country, also express our sovereignty to its fullest rather than just taking blind stands supporting or opposing. We should use our minds to understand what is the truth, what is that other countries try to you. We should not become pawns in the hands of the Western or the US entities. There are also evidences in the same Bangladesh issue. There were also evidences that many NGOs, student NGOs, or the fundamental political NGOs, or the other kinds of NGOs, they all received huge amounts of funds from US donors. Ultimately, all those funds are used to finance the protests that happened recently. So, as Indians, what best we can do is we should focus on lot on development so that US will not be in a position to impact our economy on one side, and at the same time we should not give chance to these foreign sleeper cells in our country, whether it is universities, whether it is student unions, whether it is politicians. There are so many sleeper cells in India who just dances to the tunes of United States. So we should be very careful in that regard. So US is a very dangerous friend to India. All the democracy, biggest democracy, largest democracy, oldest democracy, none of them are going to save if we just blindly believe United States. It's a very dangerous thing. So I'll end the session. Happy Independence Day to all, and most importantly, all of you, with utmost responsibility comes the freedom. The moment we lose our responsibility, here the responsibility is knowing what is good for the nation, what are our true national interests. If you are reckless about it, within no time we will lose our freedom, we will become enslaved, we will again become another country like Afghanistan, or Pakistan is like a banana republic right now. Bangladesh, no sovereignty. Myanmar, no sovereignty. All these are happening right in front of our eyes. It's not your father's generation or our grandfather's generation. It is happening right today, right in front of us and next to us. So let us all be vigilant, and happy Independence Day once again to all of you.